Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, I really must say. Oh, good night, sweetheart. Good night. Well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Alright YouTube, back at it. As you can see, I got the engine out, and I'm going to show you why here. So as you can see, I've already got it partially disassembled. And we'll walk around here. Heads are already off of it, obviously. And if we walk here, uh-oh, there's no piston here. And there's the rod. So I'm going to show you the piston, what that looks like. And here is part of the rod. It's broken. And there's the piston. The only thing holding this piston together are the rings. Got a nice big crack here, right down the middle, all the way through. Completely broken. Giant hole. And if we look here, there's a small piece of the engine right there in the lifter valley. And there was actually a couple more pieces I already pulled out of here. And I just noticed that there's a tiny piece right here sitting in this cylinder. And then it looks like the tiny piece in that cylinder. There's a tiny piece in that cylinder. So this cylinder here, this is cylinder number 4. This was the same cylinder that had the stuck fuel injector. And about 6 to 8 months ago, this fuel injector stuck open, and I'm thinking some damage to the piston or some damage to the rod occurred at that time. I was driving home and the car was misfiring, but it was still running and driving, so I got it home. When I got it home, there was just a big puddle of raw unburnt fuel just coming out of the tailpipe all over the ground. So I'm pretty sure this cylinder wasn't fully hydrolocking, but it got to the point where I think some minor damage occurred, and then just after multiple pulls under full load with 15 pounds of boost, it finally let go. This piston or rod, I'm not sure which, let go at only 5,200 RPM. So that wasn't even max horsepower, not even max boost. I was actually out trying to dial in my boost controller for more boost when it let go. So, but the good thing is I've got another engine all ready to go. Went down to the junkyard and found another one. And I'm just going to work on putting the valve springs in on those heads and swapping the cam here. And it'll be ready to go. I have to drain the oil on this. I haven't done that. I figure I'll show you guys what's going on with that. Hopefully I can get some good video of that. So let's try and drain that oil and see what we can have coming out of there. Alrighty, so here we go. Let's see what we got coming out of here, if anything. I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit of metal in here because it was up in the lifter valley. Or the pieces are just so large, nothing's going to come out through here. Alright, we'll let this drain and then we'll come back and see if there's anything in the oil. While this is draining, I noticed, looks like we got a small leak here at the front oil seal. Just a drop or two is coming out of there, and if we walk around here, I just noticed this. It's all black. So I definitely had a small oil leak on this side, probably from this front seal right here. No big deal. Doesn't look too crazy. I don't think this is going to focus in, but there we go. Kind of, sort of. But no big chunks coming out of here. I think it was just such big chunks when everything broke apart, rod, piston. Not a lot of tiny metallic pieces. Alright, I was able to remove the rod cap out the top here just because of the way that everything was aligned. And look at the beating this took. This bolt here won't even come out. Like, this thing is so warped, or the rod bolt is so warped, it won't even come out. This one comes out. And there's this metal sleeve around it. I don't know where that came from. Probably part of the rod, but I mean, just look how damaged this thing is. It took a beating. And the camera probably won't pick it up, but the rod that sits next to the rod that broke here is it's damaged too. There you go, you can kind of see it there. And I actually think the other end of the rod that broke might be seized to the crankshaft. I gave it a little wallop. It didn't break loose, but I'll try another one here. And if that doesn't work, I mean, obviously I'm going to take the pan off here, but then we'll get a look inside and see just how bad this is. Hopefully the crank's okay. I'm really hoping the crank's okay, but I don't know. Too early to tell. We'll find out. Got the oil pan off here. You can see a bunch of tiny pieces down in here. Oil filter, I just threw everything in here. Oil pump, just threw it all in here. Looks like the windage tray caught most of it. And here's the rod right there. And I'm going to show you this right here. What do you think that is? Feel free to comment what you think that is. There's another piece. Okay, a whole bunch of it. That looks like the underside of part of the piston skirt. So just debris everywhere. But here, I'll show you this real quick. Coming back up here, I'm going to pull this rod off. I don't know if you can see it from this angle here. Yeah, you can kind of see it if I can get the right angle on it here. Let's see if I can get some light on it. Yeah, just try to peek down in there. What does that look like? Yeah. That ain't good. So I'll pull that rod and piston out. I'll show you here what's going on with that, but I confirmed it with what I did is I rotated the engine over, and you can see there's kind of two distinct marks here. Here's where this black line is. That's where the piston, the top piston ring, stopped. And then you see a lighter brown one just past that. That's where the top of the piston ring stopped after the rod bent. So most likely, I'm going to go ahead and say it. It looks like the rod failed in this number 4 cylinder. And looks like the number 5 cylinder has a bent rod. And that's probably what trashed the engine. Look at the bottom side of that piston there. This is the adjoining piston here from the cylinder that broke. So all that debris just came down here and just trashed everything in this area. Looks like the block's toast. I probably can't reuse it. But breaking parts, that's what you do when you're making power. Alright, I got the rod out here, the bent rod. And underneath here is a factory good rod. And you can see just how much it's bent. And it's actually bent on several planes. So it's bent going this way, and then it's also been twisted. So this part here, the I-beam here, it not only bent this way, but it also twisted this way as it bent. There might be a better angle on how you can kind of see it there, but it's also been tweaked where the rod comes this way and then it bends this way, and then it comes back this way and curves back up, but it still completely curves this way. So it's been compressed and then pushed this way at the same time. And you can kind of see here the gap at the top right there because the rod has been forced this way because it's been pushed this way. And once again, another view. I don't know how well this is showing up on camera, but I mean, obviously, look at that. Not even close to being parallel to each other. Brutal. The bearings, however, look perfect. Unbelievable. Not a hint of damage on those at all. This is off the bent rod. That bearing looks great. And here's the piston. Like I said before, the only thing holding this together is this top and bottom ring. So I'm going to try to take this off, and we'll just see this thing fall apart. Top ring off here. Look at that. Unbelievable. The rings were holding this together. There you go. I guess you can kind of see there just how thick that piston top is. No idea. Doesn't quite look a half an inch, but this is just a cast piston. So it seems like the weak link in these motors might be the rods. Forged rods, forged powdered metal rods, bend before the piston breaks. The cast piston. Unbelievable. So it looks like the weak link is the rods in these motors. In the meantime, I already got a replacement. So I'll strip this one down, swap the valve springs, throw it back in, probably turn the power down a little bit, make this one last. So junkyard engine, $500. Junkyard engine, $800. So I'll have it back up running in no time. Stay tuned, guys. More videos coming at you.